working on a 3 horsepower 64 Evinrude, and I went to go get my flywheel off, so I put a brick in the prop, and I spun it, and it snapped something. So I was assuming it was the shear pin, which did happen. But look at this. This I had to show. That's all fishing line, crud, weeds. That is all the stuff that gets in your propeller if you're not paying care of it. Look at it. That is a bird's nest, man. Holy smokes. So, I'm going to go get my kid's ball that magically falls down the stairs now for the 100th time. And we're going to clean this up. I've seen fishing line on these things, but this is insane. Dude, look at that. That's a lot. That's a lot of years of crust and everything else. So who knows how many hours are on this motor. Maybe they just let it sit in the mud for a couple years. Guys see this. After I blew away all of the dust, look the seal. There's the seal. I got to the seal, but look at how still. There's a pound of it. There is a pound more of crap inside the casing here. I mean, it is bad. Look at all the fishing line I pulled out of there. So you wonder what the story is, right? So, some guy's cruising along the dock and he hits a freaking one pile of bird's nest and it just leaves it. It's like, oh, F this motor stuff. This boating stuff is for the birds. Talk about a bird's nest. But I got the seal. I gotta get my vacuum. Let's see if we can get it before. Look at it. I'm obsessed. Look at this. No. Look at this. Why? Look at it all in there. Oh man. And that's a lot. Why? It is by far the most fishing line I've ever seen in one spot, aside from a reel. It's like someone reeled this sucker up. Trying to catch fish the old-fashioned way. Chop their heads off with the prop. Look at it. Look at it all. Ooh, doggy. Now, that's fishing. Y'all comment below. Tell me if you've ever seen a motor with this much fishing line. Like, I get it. I know to get caught in these things. Look at it. Oh, man. Look at it go into the garbage. Look at that. It's like I reeled this thing myself. Hopefully there's no permanent damage in there. I don't think there will be, but my goodness. Sorry, I'm not tripoding it up for you guys. I didn't think. I was just popping the freaking flywheel off, and then I encountered this monster. Yeah, so we're gonna keep digging that out of there. All right, I got it all out. Look at it, packed to the brim. That's deep. Good 4 inches deep, packed with fishing line. That seal has got to be shot, but I'll tell you what, it don't look so bad. But that's what you do. That's what you get. I know it's common, but look at another shear pin. I just rusted in there. This one I'm going to have to drill out because it broke. If I can't drill it out, I'll probably punch it out, but it looks like it's pretty stuck in there. So that's next. This is broke here. I wonder what happened. It was supposed to look like that. I wonder if they hit something. Kicked it with their foot. I got a rusted bolt here. My impact hammer is too thick to get that out. I might buy a smaller bit, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I want to heat that up. So I'm going to pop the lower unit off. There's 4 bolts here. This is a 64, so you don't have to take the power head off, but it's a direct drive anyway, so it should just slide down. There's no shift linkage connector. And these bolts are 3/8. And this lower unit should slide right down. I also see a nice chip in the fin here, so they must have hit something pretty substantial. So it doesn't look too bad. Some water up here. Our O-ring has busted to poop. 2 bolts hold the water pump housing in, which I find to be interesting. Never seen that before. But not too much saltwater corrosion. Actually, don't look too bad. I'm gonna wipe it up, clean it up, get down. Still pretty dirty. I didn't get into it really good, but drive shaft's in okay shape. Hopefully these 2 bolts come off. When I do these outboards, I always have problems with the water pump housing bolts, especially if they've been sitting for a while. And then this thing looks like it came apart. Need to get that pin out of there, so I'm gonna have to heat that up, and I'm gonna have to heat that bolt up. So that seal's gonna be toast, and anything else that's rubber in there, we'll have to redo all that. Okay guys, so I never worked on a 64 before. I'm trying to take the carb off, and there's a couple screws here, screw here, and a screw on the side. I haven't seen this worked on YouTube too much, so you might find out. There's a screw one here. And eventually this old style one-sided exhaust or suction piece will come off. Okay, and then you're left with the carb, as if you would in a regular motor. And then you just go with your 7/16 and your 7/16 on your end nut, and this carb will finally come off. The 64 is a new monster for me. Shouldn't be too much different than everything else. But like that stupid exhaust thing was one of them. That was weird. I've never seen the one-sided thing. So a couple screws and a screw on the outside over there, and that exhaust thing will come off. And then you can hit your 7/16. I took the armature plate here. Take this carb off, put a new kit in it. Once I get a new shear pin or a rope, we'll pull that flywheel off. Check our compression, and we'll see what's up. Okay, so my favorite part about pulling the all motor parts of the carburetor. Clean, but I scraped that with a screwdriver, so it's got a layer of varnish in there, no problem. Piece of cake. Get to the float. Float's in decent shape. It was dirty, cruddy, stuck. You never know how long it's been sitting. The high-speed needle, stuck, crusty AF. All got to be cleaned, soaked, cleaned. Alright, this is gonna get replaced. Rubber gasket. I mean, if you're gonna restore an old motor, you would never, especially with carburetors. I'd be surprised if that needle even came out. So you replace the seat, you replace the needle, you replace the cork. Worst case scenario, you buy a kit. And the kits are so cheap, there's no point. But you can save this if maybe you get like a motor that hasn't run in a year or so, and you could just use one of these cork floats. So I have a collection. There they are. So I'm not throwing them away because they can be reused. It's just kind of pointless. And for $20, what's the point of using the old cork float that rusts away under ethanol? But I don't know you don't know me, so that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. But you definitely want to look at the seat and the needle, and obviously any other piece that comes out of this. Look at the cobwebs and the dirt. It's all gonna be clean. So we'll soak it, we'll clean it. But fun stuff. Carburetor's off. We'll clean that up, and we still gotta pop this flywheel off, change the points condensers, and the coils. But motor's coming along. We're getting an idea how stubborn some of these things can be. That bolt's been so stuck in there. I tried everything. I tried heating it up. I tried hitting it with the WD. I tried drilling it. I'm not getting much weight drills because my drill bits are crap. So I'm hitting it with the impact socket after letting it sit in WD all night, and I'm banging it with the impact, and I'm lucky that there's still some grooves on that screw, because if those grooves weren't there, I already broke a bit. I broke one bit on a previous motor, and I bought a brand new set, and I've already twisted this bit. See how twisted that is already. So this is the skinnier bit to fit in the notch. Through beating the crap out of it, I've worked the notch wide enough where the bigger, wider screw tip will fit. It's a little wider, and through banging it to hell life, I've got it to turn. It was here, and I got it there. So I'm gonna go take care of the kids for a minute, spray it with WD, let it sit for another couple minutes, and then start whacking her again. If you start getting these, if you decide to buy these antique outboards, this might be your best tool, because you're gonna get seized bolts all the time. Get this, the impact thing works wonders. And proving that my luck knows no bounds, I hit it so much, I busted the screw head off the screw, which is still in the hole. Oh, so now I don't know what I'm gonna do. Although now I should at least be able to take the plate off. Hey, live action shot here. I didn't even think of that. Put you on a tripod. Use a rubber mallet, should, but beat it up too much. Screwdriver in there. I'm gonna wedge something in there. I was hoping it would just pop off. It's not, so that'll bore you with a 90-minute video. Let me just get it off. Okay, so the plate should have came off, but what happens is if you pull it by the prop shaft, you know, the whole assembly comes out. What we were hoping to do was just kind of do like, of course, it comes out for me. Oh, there we go. Oh, this carrier comes off the prop. Okay, I was thinking this plate was separate, but it probably comes off. How am I gonna get that bolt out? So yeah, it looks like a 64. They went with this like bearing carrier style, kind of reminiscent of the newer ones. The seal's in there. Doesn't look like it'd be too hard to pull out. That's what she said. Let's get this cleaned up. And the main problem at hand is that. And she is in there good. Two options is maybe we can flatten it out and then maybe saw a groove in there and try that. We're going to heat it up and see if we can get a drill in the center. It's going to be tough. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough. If we can get a mini drill down the center of that, maybe we can extract it. But it's got to come out somehow. We got to figure out something. I'll keep you updated. Look, let's see what's going on. This is why I could never do this by trade. I don't know. I obviously don't have all the right tools. Look how bad this is. Blackout Bill done mangled that thing so bad. Cut the metal. I did everything possible. Heated it up 100 times. I hit it with the impact gun, the manual impact thing so much, or I spun the top of the screw off. Then I looked on YouTube and I'm checking all these guys that are starting with small bits, drilling right through the center. Don't work. I bought these cool little things online, spring loaded with an outside, thing, spring loaded, so the drill goes in the center. Sorry for the blurry camera work. Yeah, so spring loaded so it stays centered. That didn't work. Got me some left-handed drill bits. Oh, you hit the screw, it'll just reverse right back out sometimes. Not in my case. So I'm working it, I'm working it, I'm working it, I'm heating it, I'm working it, I'm working it, I'm heating it. And then finally I just hit it with a hammer so many effing times. I started to notice that. First of all, I'm looking at my casing. I'm like, oh, I probably ruined the whole thing. But then I started hitting it with the screwdriver on top, just gripping whatever I could, because I thought I saw it move. Okay, so I'm working it. I'm working it. Trying to hit it with the screwdriver here. And I was like, wait a minute. I gripped the tooth. Lo and behold. So it finally started spinning. I don't know if my oil, I was spraying it with WD-40 every night, letting it sit. And I was heating it up. So maybe the heat, WD in a couple days. And believe it or not, that sucker finally came out. Oh, man. What a job. Look at this thing. The threads don't look that bad. Now, look, so, yeah, no, I tore it up. But I got a lot of threads in there. So we're going to have to throw some seal in there. But I think it's going to be great. I think we're going to be able to salvage it. But, man, when I tell you the effort, it was effort. Stupid little 3 horsepower nothing outboard. Now I'm looking at the remnants of my... Oof. I really shined that up, so I'm going to have to file that, flatten that. We're definitely going to have to put some new gasket sealer and pray it doesn't leak. I beat it up pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. But it was good. It was going to be toast anyway, so we'll seal it up, see what we got. The other problem is I'm having trouble getting the drive shaft past the pinion gear there. I don't know if this piece comes out. Somebody said something about a clip, some sort of ring in there. So we'll work on that next. But it's coming along. Finally got that out. Now we can work on the lower unit. And okay, so I put the cheapy ones on this one because I'm worried it might not run. But the reason I stopped buying these cheapy ones, these are like the $17 ones. They're made from a different country. Is because if you do not have this ring, your flywheel will hit. I get this ring on super tight, and it's a real pain to get it off. That's how tight clearance these things for some reason. Plus the wires are way too long, so I find myself trying to tuck them, and you worry they're gonna hit spinning parts and damage something. So I stopped buying these cheap $17 ones, and I go with the $25 ones on eBay. They're made in China, I think, but they've been making them locally, or at least shipping them locally. So I suggest staying away from these. These are like the 17-buck ones. So when pulling the drive shaft out, I had some hard times getting the drive shaft through the pinion gear. So what I found helped was you can invert and shake, and sometimes you'll get lucky. But what I did was I stuck the gear back in and spun the pinion gear like with the gear itself, and spun it, and then worked the drive shaft in, and then I've eventually got it to line up. A lot of people were saying stick a screwdriver to turn it. That wasn't working. Some people were just saying jiggle and move it, and nothing I was doing was working. So I inverted it like this, spun this till it was close, put the gear in there, spun the gear, and it connected. You can see in there that it's spinning now. So now what we're going to do is put the bearing carrier back through the propeller. Just kind of squeeze it in there. Okay. And as far as it goes, when you get a seal kit, replace this O-ring, pop that seal out and put it in. Just making sure that that's as far as it goes. It looks like it. And just slide the bearing back in. I don't think there is. Now, because I screwed that up so bad, I'm going to throw some, probably, we'll go with this one. It's the first one I pulled out. And I'm going to add some here. And maybe some in there, because that's the hole I chewed up real good. Put it on the threads. What I'll use for the threads, actually, we'll use this gasket sealant maker. Form a gasket, the aviation stuff, and that should seal that that piece I chewed up real good. Before squeezing it in there, we just kind of put our finger. Now you can clean all this up. You can wipe all this excess off. Actually, I did it right now. I'm gonna make it look decent. I squeezed it in the gap first, then pushed down on it. And of course it squeezed out the sides, which is good. And then what we'll end up doing now is we're just cleaning off the excess here. I took a rubber mallet to squeeze it flat. Now I'm going to put the screws in. When you're using that kind of stuff, you should put it flat first, let it sit, and then screw tight, let it dry. So this one, you're allowed, it literally says on it, put in the screw holes. We're going to use this stuff to go into the broken one, the one I bit to pieces, and hopefully that'll seal any cracks. So this was the original wear plate that came out of it, and it's in great shape. It's actually just grooved here. This was the wear plate that came out of the Yacht Twin. That was all crusty to heck, but I cleaned it up and it actually looks better. So we're gonna use this. Just like throw that upside down. There we go. That fits flush like that. And then of course, our key. Our little keyway goes in the hole. And our water impeller, which is original, is this. I think we said we were going to replace it with, oh, this is the one that came out of the really crusty one. Just as bent. Needs more cleaning. This one looks more used. You could probably get that to spin the other way. This looks like the best one I have. See, the fins aren't that bent, but too big. This guy, some of the impellers are one way, some of the impellers are the other way. This is way too big. It's a 35 horsepower one. Yeah, this guy, this also looks to be too big. You can see how they're bent, fixed bent, but some of them are still straight. Possibly reusable, but too big. And then the piece de resistance fits perfectly, but not much better than my original. I thought I had a backup that was in great shape. Okay, there we go. I don't know if I threw this in the kit or whatever. This one's in the best shape. We're gonna reuse this one. I think that's why I didn't buy a new one, because this one's in good enough shape to reuse for my purposes. So, ignoring this video. Now, the fins are bent. Some of them are bent a little bit that way, so we could just reverse it. It spins clockwise. Spins like this. So if I put it on like this, that would be its original design, so we'll flip it. Okay. And then we take our cup, which is freshly cleaned out. A lot better than when I first got it. On top. I think the holes would be offset so that there'd be only one way to go. And sure enough, that's what the problem is. So one hole lines up here, the other hole's way off. So now you know it orientates like this. See? They know what they're doing when they engineer stuff. I'm the only idiot in the room. You spin the drive shaft and you push down on the cup, and that won't give you the pump will slide right in. We're just sort of wrapping up the 3 horsepower. The only thing I did was line up the shaft, put some grease on the splines, get my lower unit lined up. We just found a screw for the hole there, sealed it, and that's really it. We're just putting the lower unit back. The only thing left to do is the carburetor. That's soaking currently, so the kit's here. We'll clean everything up tomorrow, put the kit in it, put the carburetor back on, throw some lower unit oil in there, and she'll be ready to test run. It spun, so I paid the guy $50, sitting outside. Coils were 100% shot. Put new condensers in it because I had them. So $50 I bought. Put about 120 into it. And I don't typically paint these. We'll ask 3. First guy that offers me 2 gets to take her home and enjoy it. It'll be an $80 profit. A little bit of fun, a little bit of frustration, a lot of learning. Just want to spin the top, make sure everything's spinning. It is. I want to make sure everything's spinning, and then binding. One time recently, you guys will know I forced a different prop shaft up in there, or drive shaft, and it wouldn't spin. It was tight. So this one's spinning. We've tested for spark already. Lower units back together. Like I said, we'll do the carb. Start wrapping this project up. Okay, so it's a little hectic around here. I'm trying to do this while there's some daylight. I got my son filling the barrel. We're gonna give the 64 a pull. I'm trying to get ready for Florida. Just rush, rush, rush. I got babies crying. I got motors filling, so I got some gas in it. The tank was cleaned out, not well. Just want to pull it over, show that I think I'm gonna get it running. So our water level's almost there. Let me get the tripod, we'll pull it, and give this thing its first barrel test. Spark fuel compression. Hopefully the fuel's getting to the bowl. Hopefully I don't break the pull start. The thing. What's that? Gas? Yep, we got fuel coming from somewhere other than the tank. Oh, the bottom of the tank's got a leak. Hopefully. Okay, take two. Running out of daylight here. The tank was leaking, but I forgot to choke it because I'm an idiot. So now that it's choked, we're gonna get some discarding fluid in there, see if we get lucky. Of course, I choked it first, and now I'm hitting the plate, of course. Again, idiotic stuff. Choke it. Let's see if we get. We have to use the rope because the tank started pouring gas. See if we get lucky. Ooh. See if we get lucky. Oh, that's better than the last one.
Crazy.
That sucks about the rope. That's better. More fuel, less.
Oh,
I'll try to get the struggle.
yeah!
It's fine. That means let's put more fuel. Screw it. Oh, yeah, I don't have any fuel. That's why. Now I need a fuel source now. Trying here. We got leaky gas tanks. Got all kinds of problems. Gonna have to deal with a cranky wife later. You name it. But for the sake of YouTube and the prosperity of vintage motors everywhere, let's see if we can get this thing started. All right. I got fuel going to it. I should choke it. Needle setting if I get lucky. Okay. Give it another pull. Have a little faith. This is where I get annoyed because you get it running and then it stalls right out. It's like, mother.
You hear that one? You heard that? You heard that?
Oh, that's good, but it's not. See, now I don't know where to set the needle because it stalls out so damn quickly. Oh, everything. Okay, we're going to end the video here because I played with this thing for about another 15-20 minutes with no luck. But I think it's more of a tank issue. So once I get the tank fixed, I wanted to make sure I got an upload before I leave for Florida for a few weeks. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please drop a subscription. Want to get to 1,000. Definitely see you in the next video. We will get this motor running. I'll show you hopefully on the water or in the barrel. Again, thanks guys for taking the time to enjoy the video. I appreciate it. All right, YouTube, I'm running out of daylight here. We're gonna find out what's wrong with this once I fix the tank. And once I fix the tank, then I can put the pull start on top, and then I can pull and break the pull start as I do in all my other videos. So